Okay, welcome Facebook. This is Robert Weichelt with EXP. Another episode of our auction platform training. We're going to dive in and show you how you can grow your business 10, 15, 20 additional closings because of the auction platform. These are listings that you normally wouldn't have a chance to take. We're going to show you how to increase your buyer agents because how many open houses, who does open houses real quick? What's your average visitor count to your open houses?
The last ones have maybe been
7 people. Okay. Is that 7 groups or 7 people? 7 groups. Usually about 2 or 3 kids, dragging kids. 7. Is that a good number? 7? Decent. That's average. That's about average. We're going to show you how you'll probably never do another open house like that ever again in your life. So we're going to show you how to get so many buyers that blows your mind. Tony is going to pre-approve all those folks for you. But basically, before I do that, let me introduce myself. My name is Robert Weichelt. I'm with EXP. I'm a proud auction expert with EXP. I actually go on, we have a cloud-based office, which is phenomenal, and I train agents all over the world on the auction platform. How's our sound, Chris? We're looking good? Great. I'd like to make it sure it sounds good because every now and then, technology. Right? So I'm an auction expert, and I train agents all over the country how to not only go out and get more business. Just a quick show of hands. I want to make sure I'm in the right room. Who thinks that another 10 listings in 1 year would be okay? Well, you want more than that, don't you, Carla? Yeah, that's what I thought. But would 10 be okay if I showed you a way to just say, here's another 10 listings? Because what I don't want to do is say, who wants 1 billion listings? Does that make sense? Let's be realistic. Do the numbers. Do the math. What would 10 listings in a year, a calendar year, that you normally wouldn't have, what would that add up to? Average sales price, $600,000? Is that your average sales price? That's mine. That's $6 million in business. That's a game changer. If you had an extra $6 million in business, that's a game changer. I've been in business since 1986. I was a title rep back in the day. Orange Coast Title. What a wonderful time that was. My buddy Chris Hammer's got me in the business, and I was a title rep working the A and B or the B and C accounts as a junior rep, and then he became the sales manager, and I became the title rep for the area. Became the #1 title rep in the state of California. I am an overachiever, so we're clear. In 1990, I got this wild hair to become a lender. Became a lender, and when I was making $250,000 a year in title, went to making $33,000 in lending the next year. That hurt. But it was something I was committed to doing, and I ended up being a mortgage banker for the next 15 years. Owned my own bank, had a wholesale and retail arm. It was something I was very proud of. In June of 2005, we talked about the market got a little crazy. June 2005, I was in the process of selling my mortgage bank. That was the reason why everything I was doing was to sell that bank. That was the big goal. In 2005, I had somebody coming up to me and says, I want to buy your company. Yes. And it takes time for due diligence, right? October 2005, I couldn't give him the keys. I couldn't say, just take it. I couldn't even give it away because the market changed so fast. So we need to kind of reinvent ourselves sometimes every now and then, right? Who remembers that list? Tony, you probably do. Is that list of all the mortgage closers, all the companies that closed their doors that day. It was like every day, it's like, what is it called? Mortgage implosion, or what was it called? Implodometer or something? Yeah. Implodometer. Oh, I was like just thankful my name wasn't on it. I ended up closing the doors because it was just, So I have a background in mortgage banking, very extensive one. And then in 2006, June, I had 40 REO assignments, boom, right on my desk. The market came in hot. So I was an REO broker from 2006 till 2011. We had some short sales, kind of switched gears when they did the moratorium on the foreclosures. And it was more of a short sale market, 11, 12, 13. And that market kind of corrected itself. And we're in the current market we're in today from that point. So it's been about a 7-year cycle of where we've gone just doing traditional real estate. The only reason why I tell you about the REO experience is because we did a lot of auctions. Fannie, Freddie, auction.com, all of those, HUD, they all use auction platform for the simple reason to get the highest and best price, shortest amount of time, least amount of liability. They don't want to mess around with the back and forth. They just want to get it done, right? So we're going to talk about that. I'm currently very involved in the San Diego Association of Realtors. I had a meeting today. I'm on a board of director. I was last year's vice president. I'm government affairs. Been involved in RPAC and just about every other committee. And the reason why I point to you is because that's how we know each other from all of our over-committing to committees. It's amazing. They see us. They go, let's get him involved because he's a yes guy. He'll go make it happen, right? So I encourage you to get involved in your local association. It's a fun time. I point out the 75 branches in 6 states and over 200 agents because I'm going to show you ways to systems. You cannot have that kind of volume without systems. So I'm going to show you systems to take 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, however many listings, Carla, that you think you can handle. I'm going to show you how to go get that. Does that make sense? I've been on the radio. I've been on the American Dream and TV and radio and all that stuff. It's whatever. But my why is my wife, my kids, and that's a picture of them right there. And it's just fun. My son just became a paramedic, and he just moved out. Yes. I don't mean that, son. My daughter's been out for a while, and she's a hairdresser, and she's wonderful. You know what? That's funny is I'm going to show a quick shout out to my daughter. She works for Sports Clips. She's a hairdresser, and she's the number 1 out of 100 franchises, number 1 in sales every single month for the last 18 months. She paid attention during my class. No, I'm kidding. So let's get right into it. A profitable and efficient business. That's kind of what our goal is, right? I mean, McKinley, think about it. That's at the end of the day, if we're running an efficient, but more importantly, a profitable business, that's how you stay in business. If it's not profitable, you can only go for so long. They say, meaning whoever that is, that businesses fail within the first 5 years. If you can make it past the first 5 years, then that's when you can actually start showing a profit. That's why the IRS has no problem with you losing money for the first 5 years, because those are normal stats. Well, I got news for you. I don't want to lose money. I run a very efficient shop, and the best way to do it is to carry, in our presentation today, is going to talk about carrying 10 listings every day of the year, meaning you currently have 10 active. Who has 10 active listings right now? Who would like 10 active listings right now, Carla? I know you would. 10 active listings. So my presentation is going to show you how to carry 10 active listings at all times. What do you do when one closes? You get another. Right? So you're always prospecting, but what happens in our business is we go out and get 10 listings, and then we service those listings, and then, I got to go start all over again. That's the worst case. You don't want to do that. That's the roller coaster of real estate. 5 months, you already know that's not the roller coaster you want to be on. You want to go be on a roller coaster, go to Belmont. Does that make sense? 10 active listings. Always be prospecting to get those listings pipeline filled, whether it be FSBOs, expireds, probate, circle of influence, doesn't matter. But work that to get your pipeline filled at all times. And that's how you build a business. My buddy Jeff, he's the guy that introduced me to EXP. I'm forever grateful for him. But Jeff and I are REO buddies. We were in the REO business together. That's how we met back in the day. And he's my poster child for what somebody that runs an efficient business is. Does that make sense? Hello. How are you? Come on in. Yeah, come on in. Sit in it. Open chair. So basically, Jeff is the top producer. So what do all top producers have in common? They have systems, right? They have systems in place. Beer and wine's in the back, Susie, just to make sure you know. Okay. Beer and wine. This is a happy hour. Yeah. So everyone say hi to Susie. Okay, so why am I here today? I'm here because I want to grow my team. Let's make it very clear. I cannot handle 10 listings by myself. As a listing agent, I can, with good support. But the way I do it, I have way more than 7 people showing up to my open houses. I have actually 250, 300. That's a lot different. 250 to 300 people showing up to my open houses. So I need a buyer team that understands how to work with buyers, that understands that they have a good lender to work with to pre-qualify all those people that come in. Because you know what? Of the 100% of the people that come to the open house, 80% of them are kicking tires. They're there because they're bored, they're nosy, whatever. They're not interested or they can't qualify, but it doesn't matter. 100% of the people, 6, you figure 3 or 4 are not interested. Does that make sense? But if you have 300 and 80% aren't qualified or interested or whatever, you still have 20% that really like this house. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about how you can carry 10 active listings at all times. You'll probably end up closing about 4 of those per month, as long as you keep that 10 active listings going, right? That's not a bad day. And let me make it very clear, it's not all about the money. But I work to provide for my family. Why not make the most efficient way to make a lot of money? So you make $60,000 a month if you have 4 closings at $600,000. And I usually numbers at 2.5%. Every one of my listings I get 3. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Is that okay with everybody? Getting more money per transaction is a good thing. I'm going to show you how to have 10 open houses every single week. Because if you have 10 active properties, you're going to need to have 10 open houses. You're going to need to have your agents. You're going to need to have your Sandras. Sandra's only goal is to work with buyers. When we started working together, she's like, I only want to work with buyers. And that's okay. I only want to work with sellers. But I got news for you. Half the people in this room say, well, I got my license. I work with buyers and sellers. God bless you. But a systematic way to do it, pick your lane. Pick your lane. Susie, if you want to be a listing agent, go after sellers and focus in on that. Every now and then you're going to get a guy that says, you know what, I really want to work with a listing agent. Can you write the contract for me? I just closed one yesterday like that. That's going to come up. You're going to get buyers by default. But what I'm doing is I'm driving so many buyers to our buyer agents, it's almost overwhelming. Well, it is overwhelming. It's not almost. It's completely out of control. Okay? My point is, if I can show you listing agents, Susie, that wants to close at least 4 a month on 10 active listings, making your $60,000 a month, woohoo, go Susie, right? But you're going to get your referral fees off your buyer agents. I'm bringing 10 to 15 pre-approved buyers to my buyer agents per open house. You're not even getting 6 to 7 people there. I'm getting 10 to 15 pre-approved from the 300 that come. Does that make sense? So if I get a 30% referral fee, and if they're not closing at least 2 a month, you've got work to do, right? That's on a $600,000 purchase. That's $9,000 extra a month on top of what you're already making here. So watch this. You have your listings, and you're just working on your listings. You're going to need to have a buyer's team. And trust me, how hard is it going to be for me to go out and get a bunch of buyer agents that want 300 people versus 6 people? Does that make sense? It's going to be a little easier. 10 open houses, agents have $90,000 a month in income. I don't want to fire hose you on the money that you can make. This is just examples that we're using right now because that's our goal, is 10 active listings. Who does Facebook ads? Who does Zillow ads? Do you know that 77% of Zillow, the money that they make, it's all from their premier agents? And what are they doing? Getting their license in every single state so they can be their full service brokerage. It's like, the folks that are spending all their money with Zillow are the ones feeding the beast to come in and try to take over our business. I don't know that I agree with that, and I don't subscribe to that, but I use Zillow. We're using it right now to go find all the for sale by owners we want. Who's this right here, do you think? Who's got their hand up the highest in terms of sellers? The for sale by owner. What does that cost to go after a for sale by owner? $0. Facebook ads cost money. It costs a lot of money if you don't know what you're doing, because you click on the wrong buttons. The next thing you know, you're $2,000 in the hole. Zillow is ridiculous. It's not worth it. The FSBO doesn't cost a dime. They're the ones that have the hands up the highest. They have no idea what they're doing. So watch this. My FSBO. I'm going to share my FSBO script with you. Do you mind if I do that? Hi, this is Robert Weichelt with EXP, and I'm calling for a little information on your home. I also wanted to see if I brought you a buyer at a price that was acceptable to you. Would you pay the standard 3% finder's fee? Standard 3% finder's fee. Did I say commission? Why did I not say commission? Because what do sellers not want to do? They don't want to pay a commission. So the first thing they're going to do is put a wall up. We don't want that, right? Would you pay the standard 3% finder's fee? What I'm trying to do is establish par. I'm trying to establish what they are willing to pay. And when I say, are you willing to pay the standard 3%? You know what I get about 85, 90% of the time? No, but I am willing to pay 2.5. Great. I've got a 2.5 set aside right there for the buyer agent. Okay, watch this. So if I had a listing program where I drive all the advertising, marketing, exposure for your home, control when your home was shown. Think about that. Nothing's worse than listing a home on a Monday and all kinds of random showings to your clients where they work. They have kids, they have dogs, they have dishes, they have beds, that's a nightmare. Here's how we do it. We list your home on a Monday, no showings, no agents or buyers until our open house. Control when your home was shown is key. Convenience. What if a home is tenant occupied? I saw an open house. I saw a property today. They're charging $100 for an inconvenience to tenant fee. I've never seen that in my life. What the? I'm not paying no inconvenience fee to a tenant. $100? That's actually we should probably do that. Does that make sense? That's ridiculous. So what we do, it's perfect for tenant occupied properties because watch this. We list it on a Monday. No showings or inconveniences during the week. All we need is a 2, 3, 4, 5 hour window on a Sunday, and we'll do our open house. So tell the tenant to go drive around the block 1,000 times. Go to the beach. Go do whatever. But let us do what we need to do. It's easy to do when you do it in a small window. But if you do it in random showings all week, the tenant's getting irritated with that. And the best part is when the buyer agent doesn't show up. And the tenant's outside in their car waiting for this appointment that didn't happen. And then they're pissed at who? They're pissed at you, right? So if I had a listing program where I drive all the advertising, marketing, exposure for your home, control when your home is shown, negotiate on your behalf, because remember, they're for sale by owner. They're negotiating on their own, and they're not negotiators. Not most of them. Handle the entire transaction. All that pesky paperwork. Get you top dollar, sell it in 14 days, or in some cases we sell them in 7 days. We'll tell you the story later. If that's okay with, we sell it in less time for the highest price, that's okay. You pay no commission. Would that interest you? What do you think they say, the for sale by owner? They're like, oh, wait a second. How do you get paid? That's a great question. Do you mind if the buyer pays me? They're like, I don't care, as long as I don't have to pay you. That's what the FSBO says. So if I can show you a way that we can take the for sale by owner, but remember, he said he's already going to pay 2.5%. He's talking about the listing commission. He doesn't want to pay a listing commission. He or she, the FSBO, doesn't want to pay a listing commission. They've already said they'll give you 2.5%. Okay? Who in the room can take a listing for only 2.5%? Really, you can't. That just doesn't make sense, especially if you're going to give that to the agent bringing in the buyer. So if you're a listing agent and you only have a 2.5% listing, you can't take it because you'll make no money. Because trust me, don't be a 2% listing. Oh, I'll give them 2%. I got news for you. Here's what agents do. Oh, 2%. Swipe left. Swipe. Ooh, 3%. Found your perfect home. Right? That's what they do. This is the only way to go. And I'll share this with you guys. You can take your pictures, but I'll share this with you as well.
I'm confused right there still.
Yeah.
And you pay no commission, so how you
I'm going to show you. Can you imagine us? Watch this. Watch the for sale by owner. I've had for sale by owners before say, oh, no, I'm not paying you or anyone a commission. No agents, please, none. They're kind of people, there's for sale by owners that hate agents. And that's okay. No problem. You're paying zero commission. Could you take that listing? Could you take it for zero commission?
Wait, you're going to show me how right?
You could. Does that make sense? I'm going to show you a way to compete with that. Kind of ridiculous, right? That's my script. I'm going to share it with you because scripts are meant to be internalized, and I want to walk you through that. I'm going to show you how to carry at least 10 listings by getting 2 or 3 a week. I go on 10 for sale by owner appointments every single week, and I get my fair share of, excuse my term, batshit crazy sellers. It's like blows my mind. Oh, so why are you selling? I'm bored. Remember that guy? I'm bored. Is that a motivated seller? Hi, Hector. Is that a motivated seller? Say no. Not even kinda. No and no. So my job is to go out there and see all of those for sale by owners, because what are they? Off-market listings. They need to be vetted. I'm not just going to show up at 123 Main Street for sale by owner with my valuable pre-approved client and have Looney Tunes wreck the whole process, right? I mean, have you ever had a seller that's kind of, I mean, and you vetted them. Can you imagine the ones? There's a lot of them. I'm going to say about 50% minimum of the appointments I go on, sellers are out of their mind. For the for sale by owners alone. And I'm only talking about if you're a for sale by owner watching this, I was only kidding. But does that make sense? Call me. Not if you're batshit crazy though. No, but does that make sense? Most of the sellers, and real quick, show of hands, if I use that off-color language, does that offend anyone in the room? I just want to make sure, because I usually don't use that, but it kind of makes sense though, huh? Have you ever said, that guy's batshit crazy? Yes. Right? So my point is, I'm going to show you how to get 2 to 3 FSBOs per week. Who is okay with that? Yeah. Carla, don't just shake your head. Raise your hand. All right. What is our job? Highest and best price, shortest amount of time, with the least amount of liability. That's our job. That's our commitment to the seller. Period. They don't want anything else. Oh, I really want a pretty drone video. And I think that if you stage the hell out of my home, that'd be awesome too. They've never said that. They say sell it for the highest and best price, shortest amount of time, least amount of hassle and liability. When they mean least amount of hassle, they mean don't inconvenience me, make me run outside and grab my dogs, grab my kids, make the beds. That's an inconvenience. And the liability is where we come in, and that's really where our job is to protect our sellers and buyers, but our sellers from the liability side of this business. So a question, how are you going to compete with the listings, other agents? You got the discount brokers. Who's heard of Purple Bricks? Or Adios Amigos? Yeah, I've got 3 Purple Brick signs on my side of my yard. The listings that I took from them. REO brokers, of course. REOs are really not the thing right now, but I got news for you. I just got done talking to Tony about some of the loan programs he's doing. Trust me, there's going to be some foreclosures coming around. And it's not that he's doing it. There's just programs that they're getting more and more aggressive. Have you seen the FICO scores drop? Like, oh yeah, you got a 500 score, come on down. Holy cow. My point is, that's what happens when you can tell when the REO market comes back, right? You know when it happens. New technology we talked about earlier. Zillow, Open Door, OfferPad, and all the other iBuyers. How are you going to compete? How are you going to compete with things in the news? We talk about it all the time. No more 6% commission. These brokers sell it for a flat fee. You've got this company just started. They're crowdfunding right now. They just raised $23 million in a Series B funding. Basically, what they do is when they raised a bunch of money, then they can go out there and promote their product. They're offering a $1,500 flat fee. Tony, you and I have seen this. We've seen this so many times. They come and go. Discount brokers come and go. But when you go to a listing and you're thinking, I'm getting 6%. Well, this guy said 1,500. How are you going to compete with that? Does that make sense? Watch this one. No agent, no problem. Redify launches a DIY flat fee listing program. For $379, the seller can get a listing with 10 photos in the MLS, Zillow, Realtor.com, as well as a yard sign. Contracts, addendums, disclosures, all without an agent. This is what they're seeing in the paper. That just came out. How in the world are you going to compete with the $379? How in the world are they making any money? They're going to go away, but in the meantime, if you go up against that listing saying, hey, Susie, what's your listing plan? Because I got $379. Can you beat that? You can't beat that. No one can, right? Who's heard Open Door, Offer Pad, like I mentioned? This is truly my favorite. We buy ugly houses. I was actually offended when I first saw that because my house was kind of ugly at the time when I saw it. And I thought they were talking about me. But it's still effective. This is all the iBuyer cash stuff that's coming in all the day long. Cash investors. What is cash? I'm going to pay cash for your house. What's that mean? It means I'm going to give you a huge discount. I'll pay cash all day as long as I get 25, 30% off the market value. We'll all do that. Heck, we'll pool our money today. Does that make sense? OfferPad and Open Door have 17% market share. That was in 2018. I don't have the updated numbers yet. That's a big number. You know, everything starts in Phoenix. It's the epicenter of when they try stuff. It starts there and it kind of grows that way. Open Door and OfferPad, because people want convenience. People want to go, oh yeah, just sell it in 10 days. Just give me the best price you can. I just don't want to deal with it. Usually it's because it's not their home. It's usually their family home that they inherited. If they don't care, it's the kids, blow it out, let me give you my money. Does that make sense? But if we can show you a way to compete with that, so they don't have to take a discount. They can sell it for market value and still get it done in the same amount of time. That's really what we're talking about, right? Zillow launches instant offers. You know what that means? Translation. Instant discount. Oh, you want to take a huge discount? Go ahead and hit instant offers. That's great. That is a market. Like I said, I went on 10 FSBO appointments last week, and 5 of them already had instant offers from Zillow. One of the homes had in the comments, it had upstairs permits unknown. It automatically disqualified them. Zillow doesn't want to mess with that. They're definitely being choosy. But my point is they're there. So if you go to a listing appointment, have that dialogue. Have you received any instant offers? What's that? Never mind. Have you been working with an iBuyer? What's that? You know that iBuyers, if they're not licensed, they can go right after your listing and say, you know what? Cancel the listing with you and just let us buy your home directly. They're not licensed. They're not breaking fiduciary. That's a problem, right? It's not a problem if you know what you're doing. Makes sense? Zillow's also taken over the mortgage industry, by the way, Tony, and you already know that. But there's always somebody going to do it cheaper. Let that sink in for just a minute. I mean, come on, really? Who's ever got a deal and it just didn't turn out right? Does that make sense? How are you going to compete against that? Because guess what? It's already done. They've already made the commitment. They've already signed that listing agreement with somebody that said they're going to do it for $379. Too late. It's our job to get out there and educate our sellers. Do you agree? How are you going to compete? Today I'm going to show you why you should offer online auctions for every single listing. And I'm going to show you how awesome it is. Here's my listing presentation. If you want to take a picture, or I'll send it to you. I don't care. I'll send it to you. It's no big deal. Whatever. Do both. My listing presentation is very simple. Sellers want options. My option number 1, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller, I can pay cash for your home. What does that mean? I'm going to get the home at a discount, 25, 30%. That's my cash offer. That's fine. We can do that. Waive the inspections, waive all that stuff. No big deal. Second thing is we can do a traditional sale. What's your average days on market up here? Anyone having that number? You have that number? Mine's 46 days out where I'm at. 46 days. That's if you just throw it in the MLS and let God do the work, right? It's going to sell about 46 days. We had a listing that was 550 days, not ours, but I'm going to tell you a story. There are homes that are usually overpriced listings have a longer days on market because of price. Price is what sells homes. So you can let it sit on the market and just let the MLS go for it. Do it, go. Get your drone video, get your staging, get all that stuff done. Pretty it up. Or you can go to an online auction, have total transparency in terms of bidding. I'll show you what that is. But sell. Well, that competes with this right here, right? Cash, discount, usually 10 to 15 days is what these investors are saying. But if I can get you the highest and best price, shortest amount of time, 14 days, do you think that would be okay? We sold Sandra's in how many days? 7 days. 7 days. Is anyone okay with 7 days? And she ended up getting more than what she thought she would get. We're going to show that story in a minute. Who's heard of HUD? So many people go, Robert, auctions are stupid. No, they're not. But they just don't understand it. I have agents calling me. My phone's been blowing up. We've got a listing, and I encourage you all to come, 2618 Upus, this coming Sunday. It is going to be ridiculous. We're going to have about 500 people there, I guarantee it. I just feel it. Yay. And they all get in line, and because I have 3 agents inside. Sandra, Marissa, and Sherry will be inside the home, and there's only 3 groups at a time in this home. And guess what all the other groups get to do? Like in Disneyland, they're waiting for Matterhorn. They're in line. I'm going to get those 20 minutes from here, 60 minutes from here. I'm going to get those signs.
Oh my God.
It's awesome. It's awesome. But guess what that does when they're in that line? What are they thinking? I really like this house, and apparently a lot of other people do too. What sets in? FOMO. You know what that is? Fear of missing out. That works for us, and I'll show you how this works. HUD does only auctions. These guys do only auctions. Chase, B of A, Citi, Wells, Fannie, Freddie. I know us agents probably haven't heard of these guys. Probably we don't pay taxes. Agents don't. Does that make sense? These guys all do auctions. But Robert, auctions are for like distressed properties. That's for foreclosure stuff. I don't care what the perception is, as long as they show up to my open house, that's okay. But I assure you, it's $35 million mansions. We have a $2.2 million Del Mar listing coming up. It works for any kind of property. But at the end of the day, if it says auction, what does it do? Piques interest of opportunity. Normally, they wouldn't even show up to our listing. But now they said auction because buyers want a deal. They want a deal. And auction means I might be able to get a deal. But so many agents go, my buyer he doesn't like the auction. What part? Well, he just doesn't want to do the auction. I said, what part is he not? Because you know when you write an offer, you write an offer on my listing, and you just send it to me, it's the same thing. You're submitting an offer, that you're having an auction. I'm going to say, well, you know what? I've got 2 other offers. You want to come in with your highest and best.
How do you do it, Robert? You start no actions, they're
She's jumping way ahead. Oh, you want to talk? Do you want to read the book, or do you want to like go back and forth? I'm going to show you how that works. I'm setting that up, young lady. But yes.
We're talking about the same actions that I saw on the MLS, and then you do it, and they end up charging you a lot of money.
No. Those are the wrong auctions. That's why we're giving you clarity on the right auction. There are other auctions out there. We did not invent the auction. We've just perfected it. Does that make sense? So watch this. Watch this. I'm going to answer that question. $35 million, so it's not just for the clunker. I call it a POS. You know what that is? Everyone knows what a POS is, right? Piece of shit. A piece of not so pretty house. To $35 million mansions, it works for everything. You know what I love about this? Why do you think most for sale by owners actually try to sell their home on their own? Because the fix and flip and this and that, and make it look so easy. You and I both know it's not as easy as they show on TV. But when you have HD TV, that's the main reason why people sell their own home. Saying selling a home at auction, and they have a whole write-up on it. It's becoming the way to go. Watch, pay attention to the market. You're going to watch. This is the way to go. The buyers are going to start paying the commissions, and you watch. Check this out. We had one of our guys in Arkansas. He had a property. He went after an expired listing. It was on the market for like 90 days at $250,000. Did not sell. Usually you're thinking, well, it didn't sell because the price, right? Well, guess what? We put the auction platform on it and sold it in 11 days at $275,000. Biff blew that out of the water, right? That's all we need to do. Is if I can get an extra $25,000 for that seller, would you think they're excited? But it didn't sell in 90 days at $250,000. What had to been the price? So a normal agent would have said, well, you need to lower your price, Mr. Seller. Wrong. Put it on the auction platform and market it properly, and let's get you $25,000 more. Does that make sense? To your point right here, this is your slide. How we do it is we price it 15% below market. Because buyers want a... Do you think they're getting a deal if it's 15% below market? You bet they do. Who's heard of value range marketing? That's what we're doing. So if your market value, you're getting about 60% of the people. You price it 15% below, we're going to up that by another 30%. Who would like another 30% to your open house? Or more. It's ridiculous. It is. Because they want a deal. It's a science. So here's some of the tools, the benefits of selling your home via the auction. I'm going to tell you some of my favorite. It's a simple, very simple process. It's all done online. It's all done online. You literally, as an agent, you register you for your buyer. You make the bidding. I'd recommend you bid on behalf of your buyer. Hey, so the bid's at such and such. You ready to go? Good. Boom, send it in. Now, if your buyer doesn't have an agent, then we have them, we refer them to one of our agents. But Robert, 15% below market, that seems a little low. I don't know if I'd want to, that's risky. I have language in there that says they don't have to accept that offer. They can counter, accept, or reject any bid. That's called real estate. When somebody writes a low offer, what do? You can accept it, you can counter it, you can reject it. It's the same thing. Only thing is the buyer. Who pays the commissions in real life? The buyer does. You know why? When they write that offer, they're the ones paying the commission anyway. All we do is we package it differently. We do a buyer premium, and I'll show you how that works. But the biggest thing I like the most about the auction, we list it on a Monday. There's no showings. Sorry, agents. Sorry, buyers. No, I know your clients leave it on Sunday. Can they see it Saturday? No. Sunday is when the open house is. Whether it's occupied, whether it's tenant occupied, whatever the reason, this is when we're doing our open house, and no, you can't see it sooner. So everybody has to come at the same time. What's that do? Creates the line out the block, down the block and around the corner. Okay? But the deadline creates urgency. I listed on a Monday. No showings until Sunday. You must be pre-approved before you can even bid. The auction ends on Friday. We're ending them usually on Friday, so it gives them that 5-day window, 6-day window to get pre-approved. It doesn't take that long, but they want to make sure that's the right home. They'll want to go back and see it again. My sellers now are flexible in terms of seeing the home after the open house. I let them know. I said, hey, be flexible after. No showings up until, but be flexible. We'll say, like on your house, we did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 5 to 7 for the people that had to see it again or people that didn't get the open house. You have to be flexible. That's okay, right? Be flexible, but have a small window. Don't say, oh yeah, come and go as you please. No, it goes against what we're trying to do. But it creates urgency. They need to make a decision. They need to be pre-approved, and they need to take action by a certain deadline. How many times have people said, when you follow up on that showing, so tell me about, you have any feedback? Yeah, they're thinking about it. Really? Think all you want. You need to take action by Friday at 5. Right? I'm okay with that. Here's a couple other things that we like. Typical time frames, 14 days or less. I literally take for sale by owner listings, and I do a listing contract for 14 days. Not 6 months, 14 days. With the exception is that once I put you in escrow, then it extends until the close of escrow of that escrow. There's no need for a long, drawn out. If it's not going to sell in 14 days, I don't want the listing. It's a time zap messing with me. I don't want to do it. Unless we have a listing that maybe we need to do an open house again because 4th of July weekend is probably not a good time to do an open house. Everyone's gone or whatever. But 14 days is all I need, okay? We set the terms of the auction. Typically I list it on a Monday unless you're Sandra. Listed on, what, a Thursday? Wednesday night. She wasn't quite ready to list it yet. Not busting her chops, but God, I need a little time to market it. We listed it Wednesday night, so we really had Thursday, Friday, Saturday to market the home. Sunday open house, we had over 275 people to our doors. We had 21 offers and sold it for way more than she wanted. Was that an awesome open house or what? This guy's directing traffic. Okay, you stop there. Come on. It was awesome. We had an agent. Goes, what's going on here? I said, we're having an open house. He goes, I know, but I've never seen this much traffic at an open house ever. Right, Carla? So what he does, he goes, wait a second. I need to know more about this. I said, go enjoy the home and come out and see me when you're done. He comes back out. He goes, oh, right? He was like white. He's like, I got a listing in Fletcher Hills. It's been on the market 550 days ago. That's got to be priced, brother. I don't care what anyone says. He's all, you can have it. Take it. It was a family friend. He wasn't charging him anything anyway. He's all, just take it. Do what you're doing to this. We took the listing the next week, put it under contract, closed, done within 30 days. 550 days on the market. That was awesome. But what was the price? They netted exactly what they would have netted if they would have paid their full commissions. So we had the buyer pay the commission. It was fantastic. I'll show you how that works. But my point is, remember what I mentioned when I first started? If I can show you how to take 10, 15, 20 listings that you normally wouldn't have, I normally wouldn't have had that listing. It was already listed with somebody. But they came to our open house. Who's ever had a family member go, oh yeah, you can list my house, but don't charge me anything? Oh yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Can you do it now? Listing you would normally not take, now you can. I'll show you how. Competitive bidding process, everything is completely transparent. Has anybody ever dealt with a listing or a seller that wanted just a little more than it was worth? Anyone ever? Does that ever happen? Watch this. I get 200-300 people to the open house. I get 21 bids, and they're all in this place, and the guy wants this. What's this say? The market spoke. These are where all your offers are. This is what the market is saying your home is worth. Is that a better dialogue to go to your seller that wants a little bit more and say, I think that's great, you want this? This is what everyone else thinks your home is worth. Don't take it. It's not my, who am I to tell you? A market spoke, right? Is that a different conversation you're going to have with your seller that wants a little bit too much? And plus, they get us to work with. I mean, the for sale owners, they're not paying the commission. The buyers. Now, they're paying the 2.5% because they already said they agreed to pay the 2.5%. So we earmark that for whoever brings the buyer in. Usually it's us because we do a really good job, but not always. The other agent comes in, the earmark. So now what I need to do is I need to charge a buyer premium so I can get paid. I'm going to show you how that works. But before I do that, let me tell you a story. Who's ever written an offer before? Anyone? And who's ever written an offer on a home that, like, maybe other agents also wrote offers on that home? Like a multiple counter type of situation. And then what happens is you write an offer, Susie. Carla, you write an offer. We all, with 4 or 5 of you, write offers. But they don't tell you where everybody else's offer is. They just don't. Just come in with your highest and best. Right? What do you tell your buyer to do? What do you tell them? I don't know, come in 30 grand. Oh, God, don't do that. I don't want to be that liable for telling what the buyer what to pay. You tell them to come in at what they feel comfortable with. They rely back to you saying, well, Susie, tell me, you're the expert. Everything is done transparently. Every single bid, and I'll show you, every single bid, you can see it online. Everybody can see exactly where everyone else is bidding. So you don't need to tell them where to come in at. You just tell them to pay attention. Where's the last bid? Go above it. And usually it's $2,000 to $5,000 depending on the price. And I point to him because he's the one that does that. Right? Is that much better telling your buyer, I don't know, let's see where the other bids are. Go above it. Instead of going, I don't know, you want the house? Pay $30,000 more. Who knows? I don't know. Yeah. Gives me a chance to have a beer. That's good beer.
Or is there a code or an ethical decision by somebody that said, I can't tell you what the other offers are? I don't know.
Most sellers don't disclose because it's showing their cards. No, it's not against. No.
And I get that all the time, and I don't want to.
Oh, I can't tell you where it is. I can't tell you.
And I don't want to get in an argument with them because I want to work with them, so I don't want to.
Yeah. There's nothing that says you can't tell where all the other offers are. But usually what they do is they'll reply back, seller's highest and best. And what do? Who's ever been in a multiple counter offer? Who's actually been in a multiple counter offer but never received the multiple counter? They just accepted the offer and went with it. That happens too.
The other offer? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like say 5 offers come in. The agents look, I'll do it too. Hey, this one's good. Let's take it and run. Sorry, folks. We got what we need. It's cash. It's term. Boom, let's go. That happens. But this guy right here, he was one of 5. The house that he wrote was his home, his forever home. Not that home, but the other home. You know, not the forever home where he sells, but the forever home until he goes to his home. See, I remember, huh? Does that make sense? He found, oh my God, this is the home. I'm living here. I'm buying it. I don't care what it cost. He wrote his offer as aggressive as he thought. I mean, you want to come in aggressive, but you don't want to give the farm away. He writes a great offer, clean offer, ready to go. Didn't get the home. That happens. Who's ever written an offer didn't get accepted? That happens. Your buyer's like, oh God, he's going to quit the buying process. He's devastated. I've had people say, oh, no, I'm done doing this. It's terrible. I can't ever do this again. He was absolutely devastated. What does that devastated buyer do? He tracks that property, and as soon as it closes, finds out what it closed for. He found out and said, tax rolls, this public record, found out, called his agents, because you know what? I'd have paid $35,000 minimum more for that home. I wanted that home. Who lost out? Everybody. The seller lost out $35,000. The buyer didn't get his home. Do you see what happens? That's why you need transparent bidding. We don't want any of this back room, none of that stuff. All transparency is what it's all about. Does that make sense? If it was transparent, he would have bought the house.
So was this also $35,000?
No, it wasn't. He didn't get the chance. He was willing to pay more. You don't want to come in as high as you can in the beginning. I mean, you want to come in aggressive, but how aggressive do you tell your buyer to come in? Hey, do you want to pay a whole bunch more? Yeah, get it. Where do you draw that line? Legality. I mean, what kind of liability do you want to put yourself through?
Well, we're running a market right now where the agents don't even want to do it multiple counter offers anymore.
They just want to take the one and run.
Yeah, they just tell you just highest and best.
And it's usually an agent that they know that's going to close the deal. And if it makes sense for the buyer, if it nets out for the buyer, they're going to take it. Multiple counter offer is, it's a lost art, but you don't need to do that anymore with our product.
But that's what right now the way the market is, you have to tell your buyer, you want it, come in.
You want to get aggressive, but how aggressive do you need to tell them?
Well, you let them know,
This is where it's going to sell for, in my opinion. It's really difficult to say you need to pay about $30,000-$40,000 more than what it's listed at. That's a tall order.
No, then you let them decide, but you tell them, this is mine, this is what,
But how do you know
My
if the listing agent doesn't tell you?
Yeah, if the listing agent doesn't tell you. Bottom line, transparency is what I'm talking about. Total transparency would have solved that number one problem. Have a good night.
Thank you, you too.
It is the weekend. Everybody's working for the weekend. Auctions are the best way. I'm telling you, for the buyers, it's transparent. For the sellers, they're getting the highest and best price. The market is speaking. They'll get their price. And the agents win-win because I don't have to tell people, come in 30 grand higher than ask price. Can you imagine if that guy would have sold it for less and somehow they find out? They go to the neighbor, oh yeah, I'm surprised you paid so much. She was willing to pay a lot less. So God, that's a nice one. That happens too. Here's the deal. Here's my website. Go to thehome.auction. This is actually Sandra's home. We listed it on a Thursday. No, not this home, but this side. This is my website. This is my website. This is the transparent bidding. You can see exactly where people are coming in at. So this guy wrote 709. This guy came in at 718, 722, 726, and so on. Up to the very end. We had an auction watch party. That's why we end these on Friday, because we throw it up on the big screen and have an auction watch party. It's awesome. I mean, how cool would it be if we had an auction ending right now and we're watching it live? Wouldn't that be cool? We just, I invite everybody that's in this room. I said, hey guys, want to watch a live auction? It's almost that time. Let's do it. Go. And then we refreshed it. We had a bunch of people. The guy that gave me his listing for 550 days, he was there. He's like, cool, I'm in. Right? Saw it live time. It was amazing. The seller got her price. The buyer premium was added to that 753. What if the buyer wants closing costs paid by the seller? What do? What do you do in a normal world? You add it to the sales price. That's what we did. What was your end up being? 778? 778 was the actual RPA. So you want to know how to write the RPA? Write your RPA. Don't forget to ask for the closing cost. That's all we're doing. Does that make sense? But look at that. Transparency. All transparent. And we listed it on a Wednesday night. We had Thursday, Friday, Saturday to market it and had a Sunday open house of over 270 plus people. Absolute, 278. That's not bad. But look how many bids we had. 21 bids. How many people can buy the home? What do you do with those other 20 pre-approved buyers? Pop quiz. Find them another house. As a buyer agent that had 6 or 7 people through, would you be okay with 20 pre-approved buyers to go sell them something else? Most of them had agents. I'd say 60% of them had agents. But guess what? The ones that don't, it's a pretty good deal. Not bad. We're averaging about 10 to 15 pre-approved buyers per open house. Per open house, Carla. What's a buyer premium? No, she's perfect. I love it. But my point is, everyone's like, well, what's a buyer premium? The buyer premium is basically, I call it a bridge to 6%. How much is that for sale by owner willing to pay? Minus 6 is what? So my buyer premium is what? Boom. Let's say that guy says, I'm not paying you a dime. I don't like agents. What's your buyer premium? 6%. Can you add 6% to a sales price? Praises all day long. It doesn't happen every time, but it is if somebody comes up and says, well, I saw an ad, $379, beat that. You're paying $379, you're paying that much, huh? I got 6%, 0 commission. Does that make sense? Do you see how that works? The for sale by owner is the only reason why I bring that up, just because that's the most popular example. Expireds. You go to an expired and show this program. You know what? I feel so bad that you didn't sell your home. It's probably overpriced or your agent was terrible, but whatever. That's what the conversation is. But if I go ahead and, why don't I give you, you know what? It looks like you might deserve a discount. If I offer you a 4% listing versus the 6%, would that be okay with you? Let's get the home. Let's get the home sold. That's a different dialogue than going in there and saying, oh, I'm a great agent. I'm going to charge you the same, but I'm greater. My drone's better. Does that make sense? That's all they're trying to do is trying to convince them how much better they are. Come in with real value. Why don't we do this? Get you 21 bids, get you 278 people to your door. Does that sound a little different than what you're used to, Mr. Seller, Mr. Pissed Off Expired? But we're just talking about FSBOs right now. Buyer premium, though, 6%. the bridge the gap to 6. I took a listing in Hamul. He listed with Purple Bricks. Purple Bricks went out of business. And I took that listing. I said, so I go in there every single listing with a 6% mindset. My goal is 6% every single listing. I said, so he goes, so what's your commission? I said, I charge 6%. He goes, will you take 4? I said, absolutely. He goes, really? I said, absolutely. Because I do an auction platform, and what I'll do is I'll have the buyer pay me the 2%, the difference. That's clever. I said, yeah, isn't that great? Why should they get 3% and I get 1? It's not about the money, but it kind of is, right? But your pricing. You want to drive a whole bunch of people to your open house, Carla? You price it properly. You take whatever the market is, and you price it 15% below. But let me give you an example. There's a listing in Tirazana, FSBO, that I went on this appointment. His next door neighbor was worth $800. It was totally remodeled. I mean, dialed in. Have you seen those remodels? They do a good job. I mean, it was nice. This guy, the FSBO, not so nice. As in, like, not nice at all. Who's seen those pools where they're so green you can walk over them? I feel bad. The guy never cleaned the house ever in the history of owning the home. He never updated anything. It was bad shape. But he was asking $800. I said, your neighbor, exact model match, mirrored image, sold for $800, totally remodeled. You're asking $800? Well, no, real quick. Do you think your home's exactly like that one? No. Well, tell me how much it would cost to get your home looking just like that. And we did the math. I said, yeah, about $80,000 minimum. He's all, yeah, I guess you're right. So maybe $720 is what you're thinking, right? Yeah. But once you get them to that number, that's the market value. Then you take 15% below. Don't take 15 from 800. Then you'll get 6 people there. Does that make sense? Find the market value, then come 15% below. Does that make sense? Because it's a simple question. You've got 2 exact homes. One's for $800, one's for $752. Which price will attract more buyers? It's kind of it's a trick question, I know. Watch this. We did an open house. We did an open house in Palm Springs. 107 degrees in the shade. It's horrible. We had 4 people waiting in the driveway for us to. We're an hour early, and you're in the driveway. You're going to melt because I'm not letting you in. We did put an easy up for them, though, didn't we, Javier? We had an easy up, put out some nice Weichelt waters for them, and we said, you're going to have to wait. The sellers are still in there. We're still preparing for the open house. We had 268 people to the open house. We had how many bids? 21 bids. No, that was Catherine. 23 bids. I'll show it. It's all transparent. It's online. Bottom line, we had close to 300 people to this open house in 107-degree weather. And the reason why I tell this story is because the Saturday before, we did ours on Sunday. The Saturday before, Model Match Home was also listed with another company. Guess how many people they had? Right next door. Carla, did you do that open house? But does that make sense? 3 people. What's the difference? The same house. Pricing is everything. Marketing strategy is everything. Do you see the difference? 107-degree weather, almost 300 people there. We had people actually bidding inside the home. We had a lender there pre-approving people right on the spot, sitting over on the couch, pre-approving. We had 3 or 4 bids going on.
3 bidders inside the house.
Inside the home, bidding against each other. It was awesome. 107-degree weather. It was absolutely. And the agent that I was showing how to do this, she's like twitching. She's like, I need personal time. She walked around the block like 3 times. No, it wasn't Sandra. But that makes sense? It was awesome. That's what it's all about. Because at the open house, do we have an open house and just hope to God nobody shows up? Well, that's a good time I can get my taxes done. I can get all my to-do list done. That's not the place to do that. The place to talk to buyers. That's our open house. That's what we do. What do you think this poor guy's thinking? Holy cow. First of all, am I ever going to get in there? Second of all, I better make a decision. If I want this home, I've got to compete with these guys. Everybody checks in or you do not get in. Does that make sense? We get everybody. We had our highest number of people to our open house that signed in was Elsa. We had 58 people name. This is 58 groups. They're like, a lot of them had 3 or 4 or 5 people. It was absolute pandemonium. It's like the one we did on Bryce Cannon. We'll tell that story in a minute. My point is, we had 58 people, their name, their email, their cell phones confirmed. Because I'm sitting there, you can see right here, we're taking their information. Oh, you have your cell phone on you? Great. What's your number? Okay. Beep, I'm going to send you information. Do you have a flyer on the house? It's coming to you right now. Boom, your phone beeps, you're in. They don't beep. Oh, maybe we have the wrong number. Come here. Is this your number right here? Who's got a smartphone? Who has it on them? Do me a favor. Pull out your smartphone right now. I'm going to show you a trick. This is an interactive work course here. Then we call these workshops. Gives me a chance to have a nice cold beer. Write this number down. Go to a new text. Go to a new text. The number you're going to send to is 76626. 76626. Oh, you don't want to miss this. Can you show her how to do it, Sandra? Take out your cell phone. Do a new text. 76626. In the message, type in Robert. Robert. Try it at home. 76626. Type in Robert. Hi, dear. How are you? New text. 76626. Type in Robert. Hit send. Can you help her back here? She came in late. Did you get it? Check it out. The coolest part of that is not only do I have your information, you have mine. Right? Use that. When you meet with somebody, oh, do you have a business card? Yeah, I'm trying to reduce my carbon footprint, but I do have a smartphone. Why don't you give me your go do a new text, do what I just did. Do a new text, 76626, type in your name. Obviously, don't type in Robert. Well, I guess you could if you really want to send me the business. But does that make sense? Did everyone get it? Who didn't get it? Did you get it? You got it? Okay, Hector, did you get it? Cool. But that's what you do, because at the end of the day, do you want 300 people going in your open houses you don't get their information? Would that be awesome? Do you know that everybody signs in our open houses? Most people don't sign in when it's like 6. You're coming in, and they're just like, oh, yeah, come on, check out the house. And then if they come back to you finally after seeing the whole home, getting their information is almost impossible at that point. They've seen the home. Thanks anyway. See you later. Does that make sense? When you're coming to an auction open house, thanks for playing, by the way. When you come to an auction open house, we have easy up. We have red carpet. It's a process. We've got Javier with his laptop signing people in. Name. Address. I don't want to give it to you. Oh, so you don't want to see the home. Oh, got it. Email address, and then text. And I'm standing next to him, taking their number down while he's asking for their cell phone, taking their number. And I said, they always ask, do you have a flyer? I said, yeah, I just sent you a digital one. Bing! There it is. Does that make sense? Slick, right? Systems. But who wants an open house like this? Okay, I know I'm taking long. It's been win. Yeah. Bottom line, why am I here? I'm building the team. We're going to show you how to get 10 active listings and 4 closings. We're going to show you how to get, do you think if you have 300 people coming into your open house, 45, 50 people getting tuned in, do you think you're going to get any kind of business from that? I mean, think about it, right? What did I say in my script? Hi, my name is Robert EXP. Calling to get a little information on your home. I also wanted to see if I brought you a buyer, the price was acceptable. Would you pay the standard? I like to say standard, 3% finder's fee, not commission, because they don't want to pay commission. Standard. They don't know what standard is. That's my standard. Standard. Oh, standard. I thought it was 2.5. Well, standard. I charge 3, but 2.5. That's what you're into. Okay. I've had a listing program where I drive all the advertising, marketing, exposure, control when your home is shown. You know how important that is. Negotiate on your behalf. It's all online. Handle the entire transaction. You top dollar sell 14 days, and they paid no commissions. I put in there no listing commissions. Okay, no listing commissions. Now, I can do a no commission, but why would I want to just give away the farm? Every time I walk into an open house or to a listing appointment, it's always 6%, and then we go back from there. Does that make sense? Here's our marketing. Pay 0 commission. I mean, it's for the folks that, usually it's really geared for a 0% listing commission. Here's a lot of us when we're on our listing appointment. This is kind of what you do. Don't do this. Think about that. But I got good service, right? Or this. Don't do this, please. 89-point marketing plan. You're verbally vomiting on people. Don't do that. Highest and best price, shortest amount of time, least amount of liability. That's all they care about. They don't care about all this stuff. They don't care. Here's my listing appointment. Again, my listing presentation is very simple. I can get you a cash offer, and that usually comes with a discount. I can get you a traditional listing, but that usually comes with days on market. I can get you an auction platform, get your home and still sold in 14 days, unless you're Sandra, and we get her closed in 7. I show them my auction platform. I pull up my laptop, and I show them my website, and I show them the success stories. Show them the transparent bidding. That's what I do, and then we finish with this. 3 strategies for pricing, because most of the time, when I say I'm going to list it for 15% below, they're like, they go into cardiac arrest. Her husband was one of them. I said, oh, yeah, I know your home's worth $750, but watch this. We're going to price it for $637.5. He's like almost passed out. Guess what? We got him more than $750. Because if you price it high, you attract less buyers. If you price it at market, you attract more buyers. But if you price it below market, you're going to get maximum buyers. You're going to get a bidding war. That is how you get all the people to your open house. Remember, of the 100% of people that show up, 80% aren't going to be worth any. They're not going to be ready or whatever. But it's the 20% that see those 80% breathing down their neck going, oh, I better make a decision. It helps them with that. So, does that make sense? I'm growing my team so we can grow. I mean, I cannot personally handle the 10 listings. My team, we have a great team, but we're only at, we're growing. And that's why we do these classes. I want to, number one, I want you to be able to take this and say, wow, this is pretty good stuff. I can actually go out and get 5, 10, 15, 20 more listings. I think that works out. It doesn't take a long time to figure out. If I got 10 more listings for you at $600,000, that's $6 million of production. That's actually would change your day, I think, at least, right? Okay. Well, I don't like change, Robert. I like where I'm at. But you don't like being irrelevant even more. Because I could tell you, the guy that's out there selling the $379, the guy that's out there selling, hey, I'll sell your home for $1,500, those guys are out there, the open doors, the offer pads. How are you going to compete? Do you have a system right now to compete with that? But that's what's coming. They're not going away. They're only getting bigger. More and more of your clients may not now. They may not understand what's going on now, but I got news for you. They're getting educated. Zillow, Redfin, Truly, a Realtor, all of those guys are going to have this system that's going to totally try to eliminate you. And I'm not trying to be doom and gloom. I'm just being honest. But if you have a system to take a listing, you can beat that $379 right out of the water now. Does that make sense? Questions? Come on, you have to have a question. No question? Okay. What about you, sir?
Not this moment.
Not this moment? Carla. 6 open house, 250. That's kind of easy to answer. I answered that question, right?
I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
What if they overbid the appraisal value?
Here's what happened. I had one property that got ridiculously outbid. I mean, everybody wanted this. It was a 2-bedroom, 1-bath flip home, but the property, the value was in the land. They could put 3 more units on it, and the value was in the land, but it was a difficult property, and everybody wanted it. It went way, way past what it was worth. The appraiser cut it $15,000. I think the seller's okay with that. So that does happen, but I got news for you. When I show them, if they tried to mess with us on Sandra's, I'd say we had 21 bidders on that property. You're telling me that that's not worth that? The market spoke. Don't take my word for it. The market spoke. That's what the home's worth. Think about it.
What did they say?
She passed with flying colors.
No, I'm trying to get on this one. I thought the appraiser said appraisal.
No, on hers, she had no problem with the appraisal. On the one I did have a problem with, it brought it 15 grand, but it went way past what even a million years I thought it would be.
But what you just said, did you have that dialogue with the appraiser?
I did have that dialogue with the appraiser, and that's why he only brought it down 15 grand. It was probably 100 grand more than it was worth. I mean, sorry, seller, I couldn't get you all 100 grand. Is 85 okay?
In that particular case, were they using financing?
It was a conventional financing, yes.
The lender, or did they have to pay the
No, the seller and buyer agreed to,
$15,000,
yeah. The $15,000, the seller actually took that hit.
Right, but the lender did accommodate the buyer finance purchase price.
No, they basically said this is the new sales price, and then they took it back down that way from there. Like a normal reduction. Yeah, I would have personally said, buyer, you're getting a deal. Cover it half or pay it out of pocket. But in this case, the seller was quite stoked, quite happy with take it, get it done, get it out. Does that make sense? We've only had one time. But I got news for you. If a seller wants to give me any grief, I'll just show them my online transparent. Go to my website. I sent appraisers, I send them my website. I say, here's the auction platform. It's all transparent bidding. You can see exactly where they've come in, and I've had no problems.
So say the buyer, the last bid does not reach the, threshold that the seller wants.
That's a great question. Here's what you do on that. We can do one of two things. Actually, one of three things. We say Sandra wants 750 and she just doesn't get it. She gets 675. The seller can accept, counter, reject. What I would do in her case, congratulations, you're the highest bidder. However, the seller would like to counter you at 700 or 750 or whatever her number is. It is. Heck yeah, man! It's like real estate. Isn't that weird? Nope. The reserve is the reason why I don't have a reserve. The seller has their number they like a normal seller. Kind of weird. Watch this. It's the same process. So the seller, it's very clear. It says seller can accept, counter, reject. And in Tony's case, if they don't get what we want, we can either counter them back, which we did on one just last week. We countered, and they didn't quite come to what the seller wanted, but they came close enough. Boom, went into escrow. The seller wanted 280, we got 278.
So how do you have the buyer paying the premium?
Watch this. I'm going to answer that because that's an awesome question. But to finish what you were talking about, let's say we couldn't come to terms. The buyer wouldn't come up, seller wouldn't come down. Okay, I'll do another open house. Get another 300 people there. Bummer. And we've done that, and we've had success. And what's wrong with another 45 people checking in name, address, phone number, building our buyer database? Because at the end of the day, what do we all want as agents? More leads. That's a good problem to have. I mean, I'd like to get it in escrow, but I'm okay with it. Or we could just choose to put it in the MLS and let God sort it out. But why do that? You have a buyer premium question, so let's answer that. Go ahead with your buyer premium question.
Oh, yeah, so how do you have the buyer pay the premium?
How do I have the buyer pay the premium?
The listing,
Watch this. Here's what the website says. It talks about the listing. It tells us when the open house is. It tells us when the auction ends. Then it says the seller has the right to accept, counter, reject right on the website, and I'll show you in a second. You want to show them real quick? Because then we're going to go. I'm going to show them how it ties into what I'm doing. How much time do we have? We're having way too much fun. How much time do we got? Oh, you have tacos coming? Oh, I want tacos. Hey, Chris, what we should do is let's say goodbye to the folks at home. I don't want to bore you. So listen, this is Robert Weichelt. I appreciate you tuning in. So if you know anyone looking to buy, sell, or invest, obviously reach out to us. But if you have a seller that wants the highest and best price in the shortest amount of time, the auction platform, do you agree? Guys, real quick. That's for the folks at home. Have a great Friday. We're out.